Hello there, and welcome. What if I told you that a 5,000-year-old healing system called Ayurveda already solved your sleep problems, and modern science is only now catching up? If you're exhausted but somehow can't sleep, or you slept 8 hours and still woke up feeling like you barely rested at all, you're in the right place. Because this ancient Ayurvedic wisdom might completely change how you think about sleep. You see, the reason you're waking up tired probably has nothing to do with your mattress, your room temperature, or even how many hours you're spending in bed. According to Ayurveda, it has everything to do with understanding your unique energetic blueprint and working with your body's natural rhythms rather than against them. Before we go any further, if this topic resonates with you, if you've been struggling with sleep and searching for answers that go deeper than just get 8 hours and avoid screens, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And drop a comment below right now telling me what your biggest sleep challenge is. Is it falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up feeling exhausted no matter how long you've slept? Your answer will help me create content that actually helps you, and it helps others find this video too. Now, let's talk about what nobody's telling you about rest. You know that feeling, don't you? When the alarm goes off, and instead of feeling refreshed, you feel like you've been run over by a truck. Your eyes are open, technically, but everything feels heavy. You reach for the coffee, already planning your afternoon caffeine hit, telling yourself that tonight will be different. Tonight, you'll get better sleep. But somehow, night after night, the pattern continues. This is the silent epidemic that nobody really talks about. We're all sleeping, or at least we're lying in bed with our eyes closed for 7 or 8 hours, but we're not truly resting. Our bodies are there, horizontal and still, but something essential is missing. The quality isn't there, the restoration isn't happening. And modern sleep advice, with all its talk of sleep hygiene and bedroom temperature and blackout curtains, often misses something fundamental about what rest actually means. Because rest, according to the ancient science of Ayurveda, is not a passive state. It's not simply the absence of being awake. Rest is an active process of restoration, an intentional practice of allowing your body and mind to recalibrate, to heal, to return to balance. And the reason so many of us wake up tired is because we've forgotten how to rest intentionally. Ayurveda understands something that modern medicine is only beginning to acknowledge, that each of us is fundamentally different in how we experience sleep, in what disrupts it, and in what we need to restore ourselves. And these differences aren't random. They follow patterns, energetic blueprints that Ayurveda calls doshas. Let me explain this gently, because it might sound unfamiliar at first, but stay with me. According to Ayurvedic wisdom, there are 3 fundamental energies that govern all processes in nature and in our bodies. These are called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Think of them as 3 different operating systems, 3 different ways that life force expresses itself through you. Vata is the energy of movement and change. It's composed of air and space. If you've ever felt your mind racing at 3 in the morning, thoughts spiraling from tomorrow's meeting to something you said 5 years ago, to wondering if you locked the front door. That's Vata energy in excess. Vata sleep tends to be light, easily disturbed, irregular. You might fall asleep without too much trouble on some nights, but on others, sleep feels like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. And even when you do sleep, you wake frequently. Your dreams abstract and fleeting, hard to remember, but somehow leaving you feeling unsettled. Vata types often crave soft beds, extra blankets, warmth and coziness, because Vata energy is naturally cold and dry. But here's what's important to understand. Vata types actually need more sleep than other constitutional types, even though they often sleep the least. It's a cruel irony. The nervous system is so active, so easily stimulated, that falling asleep and staying asleep becomes this monumental challenge, precisely when rest is most needed. Then there's Pitta, the energy of transformation and metabolism. Pitta is composed of fire and water. If you're the type who can work until midnight and then lie in bed mentally solving problems, planning tomorrow's strategy, replaying conversations, and figuring out how you could have been more effective, you're experiencing Pitta energy. Pitta sleep is moderate in duration, generally sound when it happens. But Pitta types have a particular challenge. They struggle to fall asleep, especially if they stay up past 10 o'clock at night. Because here's what happens. Between 10 at night and 2 in the morning, Pitta energy naturally rises in the environment and in the body. This is when your liver does its deepest detoxification work, when your body processes and metabolizes everything from the day. But if you're still awake during this time, that fiery, productive Pitta energy gets channeled into your mind instead. Suddenly, you're wide awake with a second wind, thinking about all the things you need to accomplish, feeling hot, maybe even breaking a light sweat. Your dreams, when you finally sleep, are vivid, intense, sometimes confrontational or problem-solving in nature. Pitta types often prefer firm mattresses, fewer blankets, a cooler room. They might wake up feeling overheated, irritated by small disturbances, their minds already churning with the day's demands before their eyes have fully opened. And then there's Kapha, the energy of structure and stability. Kapha is composed of earth and water. This is the energy of deep, sound, uninterrupted sleep. Kapha types are blessed in some ways. They can fall asleep easily, sleep deeply, and often find it hard to wake up. Their dreams are calm, emotional, sometimes watery in quality. They love soft bedding, lots of blankets, the feeling of being cocooned and warm. But here's the interesting paradox. Kapha types actually need less sleep than Vata or Pitta types, yet they have a tendency to sleep too much. And when they do, they wake up feeling heavy, foggy, unmotivated, like they're moving through molasses. The very thing that feels good in the moment, that extra hour or two of sleep, actually creates more imbalance. Because excess Kapha leads to sluggishness, difficulty waking up, even after 9 or 10 hours, that groggy feeling that follows them into the late morning. Now, You might be recognizing yourself in one of these descriptions, or perhaps you see a blend. Most of us have a primary dosha with a secondary influence. The key insight here is that one size does not fit all when it comes to sleep. The advice that works perfectly for your Kapha friend who needs more stimulation and an earlier wake time might be terrible for your Vata constitution that's already running on nervous energy and desperately needs grounding. This is why generic sleep advice so often fails. It treats everyone as if they have the same energetic makeup, the same needs, the same imbalances. But your sleep dosha, your particular pattern of sleep challenges and needs, is as unique as your fingerprint, and understanding it is the first step toward truly restorative rest. So let's talk about what you can actually do with this understanding. How do you create sleep that doesn't just happen to you but actively restores you? It begins with routine, with what Ayurveda calls dinacharya, your daily rhythm, because your body is not a machine that can be turned on and off with a switch. Your body is a living system that responds to patterns, to consistency, to gentle signals that tell it when it's time to be active and when it's time to rest. The first practice is perhaps the simplest, but also the most challenging in our modern world. Consistent sleep and wake times. Your body has an internal clock, what modern science calls the circadian rhythm, and what Ayurveda has understood for millennia. When you go to bed at roughly the same time each night and wake at the same time each morning, even on weekends, you're supporting this natural rhythm. You're teaching your body when it's safe to release into sleep and when it's time to wake. I know this sounds basic, almost too simple to matter, but irregular sleep schedules create a constant state of internal confusion. Your body never knows when rest is coming, so it can't properly prepare. Your hormones, your body temperature, your digestive processes, they all sync to these daily patterns. When the patterns shift constantly, everything becomes dysregulated. For Vata types especially, this consistency is crucial. The irregularity of Vata energy means that routine becomes medicine. For Pitta types, it prevents that tendency to stay up too late working, pushing through natural sleepiness. For Kapha types, it creates boundaries around the tendency to oversleep. Then there's the matter of your evening routine, the transition time between the activity of your day and the stillness of sleep. This isn't just about brushing your teeth and putting on pajamas. This is about creating a ritual that signals to every cell in your body that it's time to shift gears. Start by finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. Digestion requires energy, circulation, metabolic fire. When you lie down with a full stomach, your body is still working to process food when it should be focusing on repair and restoration. For Pitta types with strong digestive fire, you might get away with 2 hours, but 3 is ideal for most people, and make that evening meal lighter, easier to digest. This isn't the time for heavy proteins or rich, complicated dishes. Warm liquids in the evening are particularly soothing, especially for Vata types. A cup of warm plant milk like almond, oat, or cashew milk with a pinch of nutmeg, cardamom, and a little natural sweetener like maple syrup or date syrup. Nutmeg is particularly valued in Ayurveda for its gentle sedative properties. Just a small pinch, though. Too much can have the opposite effect. Or herbal teas. Chamomile, of course, is well known, but also passion flower, lemon balm, tulsi, ashwagandha. These aren't just pleasant tastes, they're botanical allies that help calm the nervous system, reduce excess Pitta heat, ground scattered Vata energy. Sipping something warm becomes a meditative act, a moment of pause, of turning it inward. Another practice that might seem unusual if you haven't encountered it before, but which has profound effects, is self-massage with warm oil before bed. In Ayurveda, this is called abhyanga when done to the whole body, but even just massaging your feet can be deeply calming. For this evening practice, focus on the feet. Warm some sesame oil, just slightly warm, not hot, and massage it into your feet with firm, loving strokes. Pay attention to the soles, the toes, the ankles. In Ayurveda, the feet are seen as particularly important for grounding Vata energy and calming the mind. There are also important marma points, energy centers, on the feet that influence sleep and relaxation. The physical sensation is soothing, yes, but there's something deeper happening. The warm oil, the touch, the attention you're giving yourself, it all sends a message of safety, of care, of winding down. If you have a partner, you can take turns massaging each other's feet. If you're alone, this becomes a beautiful act of self-care, of literally taking your rest into your own hands. You might want to wear light cotton socks after the massage to protect your sheets, and many people find that having a designated pair of oil socks makes this practice easier to maintain. The slight warmth and pressure of the socks also adds to the grounding effect. Breathing practices are another cornerstone of Ayurvedic sleep preparation. The breath is the bridge between body and mind, between the conscious and unconscious. When you change your breathing, you change your state. One simple but powerful practice is called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. You sit comfortably, close your right nostril with your right thumb, and inhale slowly through your left nostril. Then close your left nostril with your ring finger. Release your right nostril and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close it. Release the left. Exhale through the left. This is 1 round. Continue for 5 to 10 rounds. This practice balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain, calms the nervous system, and creates a sense of equilibrium. It's particularly good for Vata and Pitta imbalances. If you're new to this and it feels complicated, don't worry. Just focus on slow, gentle breathing through alternate nostrils. The precision matters less than the intention and the act of slowing down. For those who find alternate nostril breathing too complex, or if you have any nasal congestion, simple deep breathing works beautifully. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold gently for a count of 4. Breathe out through your nose for a count of 6 or 8, and pause for a count of 2 before the next inhale. The extended exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, signaling safety to your entire being. There's also the matter of screens, and I know you've heard this before, but let me frame it differently. It's not just about blue light suppressing melatonin, though that's true. It's about what screens represent energetically. They're portals to the entire world, to infinite information, to constant stimulation. When you're scrolling before bed, you're telling your nervous system that you need to stay alert, vigilant, ready to respond. You're activating the part of you that needs to be awake and engaged with the world. The hour before bed should be a digital sunset. Let the screens go dark. If you need to set an alarm, do it and then turn your phone face down. Or better yet, leave it in another room. This isn't deprivation. This is protection. You're protecting your consciousness from overstimulation, protecting your sleep from the 10,000 things that could capture your attention and keep you awake. Now, let me talk about something that might seem counterintuitive. The timing of sleep matters as much as its duration. Ayurveda divides the 24-hour cycle into periods governed by different doshas. From 6 to 10 in the evening, Kapha energy dominates. This is when you naturally feel a heaviness, a drowsiness. Your body is saying, it's time to wind down. If you honor this and go to bed during this Kapha period, ideally around 10 o'clock, you'll fall asleep more easily because you're working with the natural rhythm rather than against it. But if you push through this drowsiness, if you stay up past 10, you enter Pitta time. From 10 at night until 2 in the morning. And suddenly, you get a second wind. You feel productive again, energized, like you could accomplish so much. This is your body trying to use the Pitta energy for its intended purpose, which is detoxification and cellular repair. But when you're awake, that energy goes into your mind instead. You start planning, organizing, maybe cleaning the kitchen or answering emails. And then when you finally try to sleep at midnight or 1 in the morning, it's much harder because you've activated that fiery, productive energy. Then, from 2 to 6 in the morning, Vata time begins. This is when sleep naturally becomes lighter. If you wake during these hours and can't fall back asleep, it's often Vata imbalance, the mind racing with anxious thoughts, the body restless. The ideal is to be deep asleep during most of Vata time and wake near the end of it, around 6 in the morning, when Kapha begins again. If you wake during Kapha time, after 6, you'll notice it's harder to get up. That's the heaviness of Kapha pulling you back to sleep. This is why Ayurveda recommends waking before 6, or at least by 6, to avoid getting trapped in that sluggish, groggy feeling that can last for hours. Understanding these cycles allows you to work with your body's natural rhythms rather than constantly fighting against them. It's not about rigid rules. It's about awareness. On nights when you can't be in bed by 10, at least knowing why it might be harder to fall asleep helps. You can adjust your routine, maybe doing more calming practices to counter that Pitta activation. And in the morning, how you assess your sleep quality matters. Don't just look at how many hours you slept. Notice how you feel. Are you waking naturally, or only when the alarm screams at you? Do you feel refreshed, alert, ready for the day? Or do you feel like you need to peel yourself out of bed? Can you think clearly, or is there a fog that doesn't lift until your second cup of coffee? These signs tell you whether your sleep was truly restorative. Vata types might notice they needed less sleep when they followed grounding practices the evening before. Pitta types might notice they slept more soundly when they cooled down and let go of planning. Kapha types might feel more energized when they woke earlier, even if they wanted to sleep longer. This is not about perfection. It's about gentle adjustment, about learning your own patterns and what supports you. Some nights will be better than others. Some seasons of life will be more challenging. But having these tools, this understanding of your unique sleep dosha and what it needs, gives you agency. You're not just a victim of insomnia or poor sleep quality. You're someone who can make informed choices to support your rest. Sustainable change happens slowly. Don't try to overhaul your entire evening routine overnight. That's very Pitta, that all-or-nothing intensity, and it usually leads to burnout and giving up. Instead, choose one practice. Maybe it's the warm oil foot massage. Maybe it's the evening breathing practice. Maybe it's simply finishing dinner earlier and making it lighter. Do that one thing consistently for a week or two. Let it become natural, effortless. Then add another practice. Layer these rituals slowly, and what you'll find is that rest begins to deepen. Not just your sleep, but your entire being begins to experience more rest. Because when you sleep deeply and wake restored, everything else in your life shifts. Your mood stabilizes. Your focus sharpens. Your immune system strengthens. Your resilience increases. You have more patience, more clarity, more energy for the things and people you care about. This is the ripple effect of intentional rest. It's not just about sleeping better. It's about living better. It's about honoring your body's need for restoration, for quiet, for the kind of deep rest that allows genuine healing and renewal. The ancient Ayurvedic texts speak of sleep as one of the 3 pillars of life, along with food and mindful living. Not just something you do, but something you are. A state of being that's as essential to your health as eating or breathing. When sleep is balanced, they say you experience happiness, nourishment, strength, knowledge, and vitality. When it's imbalanced, everything suffers. So tonight, or tomorrow night, or whenever you're ready, I invite you to begin, not with pressure or expectation, but with gentle curiosity. What is your sleep dosha? What patterns do you recognize? What small ritual might you add to your evening? Maybe it's as simple as warming some plant milk with nutmeg. Maybe it's 5 minutes of slow breathing before you turn out the light. Maybe it's massaging your feet with warm oil while you listen to calming music. Whatever it is, do it with intention. Do it as an act of care for yourself, because you deserve rest. Deep, restorative, rejuvenating rest that allows you to wake up and meet your life with presence and vitality. If you found this exploration helpful, if these ancient practices resonate with something you've been searching for, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone you know who struggles with sleep, who's been looking for answers beyond the standard advice. And if you'd like to continue this journey, leave a comment below about what sleep dosha you recognize in yourself, or what practice you're going to try first. Your sharing helps others feel less alone in their own struggles and discoveries. But for now, let this information settle. Don't try to remember everything. Just hold the understanding that there is a way to rest that honors your unique constitution, your particular needs. That sleep doesn't have to be this mysterious, frustrating thing that happens or doesn't happen. That with wisdom, with patience, with gentle attention, you can cultivate the kind of rest that truly restores you. And maybe tonight, you'll sleep a little deeper, and tomorrow, you'll wake a little brighter. One night, one practice, one breath at a time.